2, 3.
For Columbus Network is a relationally driven, very diverse community of pastors, of marketplace leaders, of nonprofit directors working together to really make impact in a neighborhood or around a cause in the city. Let's start by talking about the formation of the West Side Network. So Ben, maybe you could kick us off. How would you guys describe Hilltop in general?
There's so much potential in the Hilltop, and then there's so much potential that doesn't get realized because people can't see past their immediate context of problems. And so it's like, you're like, come on, you can do this. You can get past this. And they're like, I can't. I just can't.
Can you describe how this group of leaders started meeting together, how you started organizing that and developing what is now a really strong network?
Really what was the catalyst that kind of started to form us was finding a shared need. We really saw a need for prayer, for racial healing in our neighborhood, and so we gathered together to talk about what would that look like.
It felt so good to have churches from the Hilltop and from Franklinton together, Christians from different walks of life, different viewpoints together. And right after we finished, it was like, okay, God, what's next?
Any neighborhood can learn that there's a true joy in working together and collaborating with one another. You're able to get more done, and they'll know us. They will know we are Christians by our love for one another. And so we could do it alone, but how much more beautiful it is and how much more joy it is to work together.
For a lot of years, it's like, man, I want to plant a church. I want to plant a church. I want to plant a church. But what if God's not calling you to plant necessarily a church, but a collaborative ministry that reaches somebody new that nobody else could reach because a church couldn't reach them, but maybe a school could, maybe a learning center could, maybe a prayer walk could.
God's love for us is never meant to just be kept to ourselves. And so that love that we have for one another is now going to flow out into the neighborhood. And the more we work together, the more we're unified, the more of an impact that's going to have.
Yeah, I think of the body in the cell, right? Like if a church is a cell, it takes a whole bunch of churches together to make a finger, a whole bunch of churches to make a hand. But when we work together, we're launching out things that would be impossible for one church to do.
I think what we're talking about is more than just collaborating on a surface level of just getting stuff done, but we're talking about a spiritual collaboration that is reflective of John 17, that we would be one as He and the Father are one, so that the world would believe. How do we take this model and scale it across the city into all kinds of different neighborhoods that have their own unique challenges, that have their own unique relational dynamics on the east side and downtown and south side and New Albany?
Man, we want the whole city to be working together.